the supply list of stuff that we're going to need for this one. You're going to need some glue, obviously. You may want some tape. That will come in helpful. You know, it's a handy thing to have around. You're going to want some baker's twine, some ribbon, some jute, whatever it is you want. A hole punch. Be careful, they bite. Pair of scissors. You're going to want a piece of some ribbon in a holiday color. You're going to want some number stamps, a block, and obviously some ink. You're going to want some candy. Candy's important here. Something to mount the whole thing on. I'm using this here. This was a candy cane from the Dollar Tree, and Mike cut it down for me. It's about 2 feet long right now, give or take. About a good size. You could also use a hanger if you don't have something like this that you could use, or a dowel, or you know, whatever you want. You could just use a hanger. You may want a bone folder for this one, guys. A couple of punches that are different sizes. This is a 2 1/4 and a 2 inch, and they work out really well when I put them together. So I grabbed those. Some scrap paper. You're going to want some Christmas paper, and you're going to be cutting this down to 6 inches by 6 inches. So I'm going to get this out of the way real quick, and let's go ahead and just get that piece of paper cut, and we can get it out of the way. Now, I'm using a directional paper here for a reason, and that is so that you guys can understand how to do this. So I'm going to cut this at 6 inches, and normally I would use 12 by 12, but this piece was already cut down, so I decided to use it instead. By 6. And then, that's all the cutting I have to do. I'm just going to cut a bunch of 6 by 6s, and that's all the cutting we have to do today. So, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we keep an eye on that direction. And we're going to face that away from us. And we're going to bring in this side. We want to make sure that our Santas are going up and down this way. We're going to bring that in, and we're going to fold that. And at this point, this is where you would use that bone folder if you wanted to. And then on the other side, we're going to bring it in, but when we bring it in, we're just going to bring it in so it's like 1/4 of an inch. Okay, we just want a little bit there. Just enough to glue it up. Okay? Now, once we have that, we're going to go ahead and glue this. And then the next part of this is kind of optional. You can do it by eye if you want to. I'm just going to show you how to do it on the scoreboard. So once I have that glued, I'm going to take my scoreboard out. And at the top end of my bag, I'm going to score it 1/2 inch. And again at 1 1/8. And then I'm going to turn it around, and on the bottom end, I'm going to score at 1 inch. Okay? That's all the scoring that there is on this. This is so easy, guys. We're going to fold up that 1/2 inch. Go ahead and burnish that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pop this open and push in on the 2 sides so that the side folds are right across the center, okay? Just like that. So let's take a good look. So see how we have this? That's what we want. Then we're going to take the bottom, and we're going to fold it up to that midline, right there. We're going to put a little bit of glue on there, or tape. Tape will help. And then we're going to fold the top piece down all the way to the bottom. We're going to burnish this whole thing. Okay? Now, at this point, I'm going to put a little extra glue in here. There we go. I'm just going to give it a second to dry before we move on to the next piece of this. So, the next piece of this, we're going to use the bone folder to open this up. And you'll see that what we've actually created is a little bitty bag. Okay? I'm going to put in a couple of pieces of candy, and then folding this towards the seam, I'm going to fold it over once, fold it over twice, and then I'm going to use my hole punch, and I'm going to put 2 holes in the top here. 1 and 2. Alright, piece of baker's twine. This is going to be important. So I'm going to cut a length of baker's twine. Length is not important here, guys. What is important is that you have some. Alright, so now that I have that, I have my bag with my candy. I have baker's twine. And I'm going to get out my punches. Okay, I've got 2 punches. And I want to put a day on this, a number. So I'm going to just use the one that's on here, which is the number 2. And I'm just going to stamp that number 2 on there. Okay? Now, I can ink this if I want to. I can leave it alone. I can glitter it, whatever. If you have a good hand and you want to just write this, you could just write this. Entirely up to you. I'm going to use a little bit of glue here to put this on. Pretty simple. And I want to make sure that the top of my 2 is at the top of one of these petals. Just like that. Okay? Now, once I have that there, we're going to punch a hole at the top, and then we're going to pick up our little bag, and starting at the back, we're going to thread our baker's twine through the first hole. Then we're going to thread it through the back of our tag. And then we're going to put it back through. To the back. Alright, once we have that on there, we're going to go ahead and tie a knot. Nothing spectacular here. Square knot works. Okay? We don't want it too tight, but we want it on there because we want that tag to have a little movement. Okay. Just like that. Okay? Now, here's the catch. You're going to make 24 of these. So, I am going to pause the video now and let you go make 24 of these. And then I'll be right back to show you what we're going to do. Alright, so for the next part, we're going to take about a yard or so, yard and a half of ribbon. And what we're going to do is we're going to tie our ribbon onto whatever we're going to hang this on. Now, it doesn't have to be ribbon. It can be jute, whatever you want it to be, okay? But the idea is that we're going to tie it on here. We're going to make sure that it's long enough to hang it up. And then we're going to tie it on the other end. Kind of want to leave my tails the same length. Now, if you want to make sure this stays on here, you just put a little bit of hot glue, and that will keep it in place, okay? Now, once we have that, let's get rid of this out of the way. Once we have this, now you can add bows to this or whatever you want to do, okay? Up to you. But once we have this, we're going to bring in all 24 of our bags of candy. Okay? Now, we are going to start tying these on here. And here's the thing. It doesn't matter what number we put where. We want them random. So we're just going to take it, bring it around, and tie it on. It doesn't even matter the length. Okay? We literally want these to just be very, very random on here. Okay? So once we have all of these tied on in whatever order we pull them in, I mean, obviously, you don't want to put all the blue ones in one place, okay? So kind of spread them out. Once we have that all done, then we'll take a look at this thing. All right? I'll be right back. All right, so there it is. There's no rhyme or reason to where the bags are hanging, or how high they're hanging, or how low they're hanging, or what order they're in, or anything like that. They're just hanging on the stick. And I'm going to go ahead and hang this up and take a photo so that you guys can see what it looks like when it's actually hanging on the wall. But that's it. That's my Advent calendar. Easy peasy, guys. Takes about an hour to make, and it's pretty fun. I think that you and the kids or the grandkids will certainly enjoy getting this one put together. But that's it. Listen, if you haven't done so already and you're new here, go ahead and hit that red button for me and subscribe, like me, ring my bell, and share me with all your friends. And until I see you again, do me a favor. Stay safe. Bye-bye, guys.